afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's event, which is the second annual Impact Symposium of the UCLA Initiative to Study Hate. My name is David Myers, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this afternoon's event, which really marks an important point in the history of the initiative, the end of our first three-year pilot project. Let me offer just a few words about the history of the project for those of you who may not be so familiar with it. We began in 2022 as an initiative whose mission was to understand hate in response to an exponential rise in hate incidents and expressions, especially since the year 2015. And the original idea was not to focus on a particular group or individual, but rather to study hate as it took rise in individuals as a class and in groups, not a particular group, but the idea of hate-based expression in groups. And over the course of our first 3 years, we had a very productive time. There are varying accounts of how many research teams we supported that ranged from 42 to 73. So somewhere, depending on your accounting method, you can get a sense of the scale of this initiative. What we do know is that we have supported over 115 researchers from around campus, ranging from undergraduates to senior faculty members. The ISH research community, which has really been built up over 3 years, draws on members from over 20 disciplines and departments. And we think it's really one of the largest concentrations of scholars in the world studying hate. In the wake of October 7th, 2023, we decided to revisit the original organizing principle, which was to focus on groups and individuals rather than a specific group, by creating a new research hub to study anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and related forms of identity-based hate. And that added another 20 or so members to the ISH fold. ISH, by the way, is the acronym that we use for the Initiative to Study Hate. It takes a while to get used to it, but once you do, you'll be able to vibe with it. Our original funding will last us through the next academic year, and we will be planning the future of ISH thereafter. One very salutary development is that as of this year, the Initiative to Study Hate came under the umbrella of the Bidari Kindness Institute, which is an institute that has existed for 5 years on campus, that is now home, the administrative home to ISH, as well as the Dialogue Across Difference initiative, and which presents really very interesting and exciting opportunities for collaboration, because we believe that the study of hate and the study of kindness exist on an interesting research methodological spectrum. And in fact, we've seen in our first call for researchers for the Bidari Kindness Institute of this year that there's some considerable measure of overlap between those interested in the study of these two phenomena. So the study of hate will continue at UCLA. Under this new administrative rubric, which we're really delighted about. What we do know after 3 years is that hate is too important a subject to neglect, and that in our 3 years, we've made important progress, but have not altogether solved the problem of hate in society. What have we done in our time? We've conducted cutting-edge research that understands hate through the lenses of neuroscience, computer science, social media research, political science, anthropology, mathematics, musicology, psychiatry, and many other disciplines. We have brought people from these various disciplines together on a monthly basis in a seminar to share ideas, methods, and research findings. We have, owing to the hard work of Naomi Taub, a blog that summarizes important research conducted by ISH, which I encourage you all to take a look at. It can be found on our website, studyofhate.ucla.edu. We have created, due to the hard work of a team of our researchers this year, a rapid response tool to combat mis- and disinformation surrounding the wildfires in Los Angeles from January 2025. And we are now in the midst of launching a survey to gauge attitudes about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia at UCLA to learn better how to combat those phenomena. A lot of what we've done this year is to focus on mitigation strategies because we think it's important to conduct really significant research, and it's equally important to translate it into tangible outcomes, mitigation strategies, takeaways. And that really is a guiding theme at this year's symposium. So we're going to have 3 panels featuring ISH researchers, each of which will be between 50 to 60 minutes. At the end of the 3 hours together, we will have a reception to which everybody's invited. There will be breaks after each session, but feel free to stand up and step out as needed. So before we begin with our first panel, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those generous donors who have understood the import of our work and have made it possible, particularly the Anthony and Jean Pritzker Foundation. And I'd also like to extend my very deep gratitude to my cherished, beloved colleagues at ISH. I really have the privilege to be able to work with some of the very best people on campus, or really in the world, on some of the most important work that is being done at UCLA. And that work can be draining, as those of you who are engaged in research on hate know. So I want to begin by thanking our indefatigable research manager, Dr. Maya Mora, who is the chief architect of today's symposium and has really done the heaviest logistical lift to get us here. Thank you so much. I also want to thank, I hope she's here. Is Lisa here? Because I'm going to call her out in a second. Okay. Our stupendous graduate student researcher and PhD candidate, Felicia Graham, who is preternaturally wise in matters of the soul and the mind. Is she here? She's outside. Okay, all right. Well, and also outside I see, hey. I just said nice words about you. And I want to thank our financial whiz, who is definitely outside, sitting right at the desk, Maria Patlan, who is preternaturally wise in matters of budget. Thank you, Maria. And last but not least, my very close partner, Maya Ferdman, who assures that everything at ISH, Dialogue Across Difference, and the Bedari Kindness Institute works as well as it does. Thank you, Maya, for all that you do. And with that, I'd like to now call up the first panel to begin the conversation about extremist recruitment from point of entry to exit.